engineering, computing technologies, communication and networking, computational intelligence, signal and image processing. All the research papers will be published in Google Scholar and the selected papers will be applicable for Scopus Index journals. We are glad to organize this conference on such a broad scale.
It's my privilege to welcome our chief guest, Professor Dr. Praveen Trivedi, Vice Chancellor, Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati University, Ajmer. First of all, a huge round of applause for Sir. Professor Trivedi has 40 years of teaching and research experience in the University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. He has published more than 350 research papers and review articles in journals of repute and books. He has edited and written 173 books, world record in the subject, and guided 44 PhD students. He has been the principal investigator of 21 major research projects funded by national organizations UGC, CSIR, ICAR, DST, and DBT. To honor his contribution, Indian Botanical Society instituted a medal in his name, Dr. P.C. Trivedi Medal for Editorial Excellence from 2019, which is being given every year for quality book authored or edited, published by a plant scientist. I request our respected chairman, Sir, Mr. Rajkumar Kandoi, to please felicitate Dr. Praveen Trivedi, our chief guest.
Let's give him a huge round of applause, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. I now would like to welcome Dr. Emmanuel Shubhankar Pillai. He has done his MTech Computer Science from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, and PhD from IIT Roorkee for his thesis on a framework for network forensic analysis in 2002. He is currently Associate Professor in the Department of CS Engineering in MNIT Jaipur. He is awarded the ISEA Fellowship by the Department of IT, Government of India for his research in information security. He has 26 plus years of teaching, research and administrative experience and supervised 8 PhD theses, 44 MTech dissertations and around 35 BTech projects. He is a member of editorial board of Forensic Science International, Digital Investigation and Academic Outreach Chair, Digital Forensic Research Workshop, APAC 2022. So I now request a respected principal, Dr. I.C. Sharma sir, to please felicitate sir. Let's give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to welcome Dr. Sumit Srivastava from Manipal University. Professor Sumit Srivastava has also worked as head in the Department of Information Technology, coordinated the Quality Enhanced in Engineering Education Program QEEE in collaboration with MHRD and IIT Madras. He was the faculty coordinator of 2 TEDx events at MUJ and the convener and editorial member of the 3 version of International Conference Smart System Innovation and Computing. He also served as the coordinator for Student Exchange Program with HEIG VD University in Western Switzerland. I request Dr. Pradeep Jha sir, HOD Computer Science Department, to please come forward and felicitate Professor Sumit Srivastava sir. A huge round of applause for sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Let's now welcome our next guest, Dr. Dinesh Yadav, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SEEC, Manipal University, Jaipur. He has to his credit 88 research papers published in reputed journals and conferences. He is the recipient of MTTS Outstanding Chapter Officer Volunteer Award 2023. And he has some other achievements in his hands. like being the Young Researcher Award 2020 by IE Rajasthan State Centre by Honorable Governor of Rajasthan, Sri Kalraj Mishra. He also received IEEE International Travel Grant to visit IEEE International Microwave Symposium, USA. He is a recipient of short-term research fellowship under the Endowment Fund Scheme for visiting Japan in June 2019 and has visited Hiroshima University, NIMS and KEIO University, Japan. I request Rima ma'am to please come forward and welcome him.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to welcome Dr. Manju Vyas, ma'am, Professor JCRC Foundation. Ma'am is currently working as Head Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science at Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center. She is also looking after training and placement vertical of the department. She possesses over 15 years of professional experience serving at various academic positions. She received her PhD degree in year 2022 with research area of software project estimation and machine learning. She has published several research papers in the area of agile and machine learning in various reputed SCI and Scopus Index journals and conferences and has delivered talks and sessions in various universities. I request Mr. Amit Kumar sir to kindly come forward and welcome Dr. Manju Vyas ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's now welcome our very respected chairman, sir, Mr. Rajkumar Tandoi, and I request Mr. Arshad Nadeem to please come forward to felicitate, sir.
Scenario. In every institute, in every university, there are a lot of internet conferences are there. But the thing is that the topic is the more important as a student concern. The topic selected by the team, that is the data science and engineering applications, of course it is the demand of future, demand of present time. But if we are related with the technology, then this is a good thing. But if AI enter to the human being life, it is very dangerous, as my concern. तो ऐसा नहीं होता है कि किसी टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ अच्छाइयाँ आई हो तो दोनों चीजें उसके साथ रिलेटेड करती हैं. I give my sincere thanks to all the organizing team, maybe from the department or student side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our respected chief guest, Dr. Praveen Chand Trivedi, sir, to please come and enlighten our students. Sir, please.
Mr. Chairman of this institute, Principal of this college, distinguished scientist on dais of the dais, esteemed guests, scholars and dear students. It is with great pleasure and a profound sense of privilege that I stand before you today at the fourth edition of the International Conference on Data Science and Engineering Application, graciously hosted by GIT College in Jaipur, affiliated to the University of Rajasthan. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee for extending this invitation. And I commend that unwavering dedication to fostering academic excellence. As we gather here amidst the scholarly ambience of GIT College, I am reminded of the boundless potential that resides within the realm of data science and communication engineering. The theme of this conference centered around recent advancement in these domains served as a clarion call to all those who dare to dream, innovate, and pioneer. In the fast evolving landscape of technology and innovation, it is imperative that we, as a scholar, scientist, and educators, remain steadfast in our pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment. The fusion of statistical analysis, machine learning, and computational tools has revolutionized the way we perceive and interact with the world around us, opening new vistas of possibilities and promise. This conference, with its distinguished keynote speakers, engaging discussions, and specialized tracks, offers a unique opportunity for intellectual exchange and collaborative exploration. From the intricacies of signal processing to the marvel of computer vision and natural language processing, each session promises to unravel the mysteries of our digital universe and illuminate the path forward. As former Vice Chancellor of different universities, I have had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the transformative power of education and research. Friends, it is my fervent belief that this conference serves as a catalyst for change, inspiring the next generation of scholars to push the boundaries of innovation and chart the new horizons of discovery. In my experience, and so I call upon the younger students present here कि तुम जो चाहते तो हालात बदल भी सकते थे, तुम जो चाहते तो हालात बदल भी सकते थे, तेरे आंसू मेरी आंखों से निकल सकते थे, मगर तुम तो ठहरे ही रहे झील के पानी की तरह, दरिया बनते तो बहुत आगे निकल सकते थे. And after this 2 days conference, on the advice of these distinguished speakers, they will give you so much information कि आप कहोगे कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाद में कि हमें भैया हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ निकल जाएंगे रास्ता बना लेंगे. लेकिन मित्रों, आपको सपने लेने पड़ेंगे, सपने. आज today is a World Intellectual Property Right Day. 26 April is the World Intellectual Property Right Day. You have to innovate new things, और वो तभी होंगी जब निगाहों में सपने सजाकर तो देखो, निगाहों में सपने सजाकर तो देखो, इरादों को मकसद बनाकर तो देखो. इस आपको इरादों को मकसद किनारे पर नीचे फील्ड में गोते लगाने पड़ेंगे, तब आप मोती निकाल करके बाहर आओगे. बच्चों से जब मैं बात करता हूँ तो मुझे लगता है वो ख्वाहिशें करते हैं, मैं ये बन जाऊं, मैं वो बन जाऊं. मित्रों, ऐसे कुछ नहीं होगा, कर्म करना पड़ेगा. ख्वाहिशों से नहीं गिरते फूल झोली में, कर्म की शाख को हिलाना होगा, और कुछ नहीं होगा पहुंचने से अंधेरे को अपने हक का दिया खुद ही जलाना होगा. And this conference serves as a bridge between these two worlds, fostering collaboration and synergy that will drive meaningful progress in the field of the data science and engineering application. My dear colleagues and friends, as we embark on the journey of intellectual discovery, let us embrace the challenges that lie ahead with courage, conviction, and unwavering determination. Let us harness the power of collective intelligence, very important, collective intelligence to confront the present issue of our time and usher in a new era of progress and prosperity. मुझे इस समय अचानक एक कहानी याद आ रही है। आप सब लोगों ने कहानी सुन रखी थी खरगोश और कछुए की। स्लो एंड स्टडी विंस द रेस कहानी से आप लोगों से निष्कर्ष निकाला गया था कि लेकिन अब ये कहानी वो कहानी नहीं रही, अब 4 कहानियां हो गई हैं। बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं होगा ये। दूसरी बार फिर रेस होती है। इस बार खरगोश कछुए को चैलेंज देता है और कछुए को कहता है कि रेस होगी, और इस बार खरगोश कहीं बीच में सोऊंगा नहीं जब तक कि मेरे लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति नहीं हो। दौड़ शुरू होती है और खरगोश जीत जाता है, लक्ष्य तक पहुंच जाता है। क्या शिक्षा मिलती है इस कहानी से कि फास्ट एंड कंसिस्टेंस विल ऑलवेज बीट स्लो एंड स्टडी। लेकिन ये छोड़ो, तीसरी कहानी और हो गई। कछुए ने इस बार चैलेंज दिया खरगोश को, उसने कहा रेस होगी। खरगोश ने कहा कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मित्र। कछुए ने कहा कि लेकिन रास्ता मैं डिसाइड करूंगा। कोई दिक्कत नहीं है दोस्त, रास्ता। कछुए ने रास्ता डिसाइड किया है, रास्ता जा रहा है उबड़ खाबड़, उसके बाद एक नाला है और उसके बाद सामने पेड़ की तरफ चढ़ के जाना है। रेस शुरू हुई। खरगोश उछलता कूदता तेज नाले तक पहुंच गया, लेकिन वो तैरना नहीं जानता था। कछुआ धीरे धीरे आया, तैर करके और लक्ष्य तक पहुंच गया। इस कहानी से कितनी गजब की शिक्षा मिलती है कि नो योर कोर कॉम्पिटेंस एंड ट्राई टू डू वर्क एज पर योर कोर कॉम्पिटेंस, जिसमें आप अच्छे हो। कछुआ तैरना जानता था, उसको पता था मेरी कोर कॉम्पिटेंस क्या है, तो ही डिसाइडेड दैट पाथ टू विन दैट रेस। लेकिन चौथी कहानी सबसे बढ़िया, जिसके लिए मैं अभी आपको बात रहा था कि हमको ग्रुप में काम करना चाहिए, तो इस बार खरगोश ने कहा कि रेस होगी। कछुए ने कहा लेकिन रास्ता वही रहेगा। रेस शुरू हुई। सबसे रेस शुरू होने से पहले ही खरगोश ने कहा कि तुम, कछुए को कहा तुम मेरी पीठ पर बैठ जाओ, और वो नाले तक गया। नाले पर जाके कहा कि कछुआ अब तुम मुझे अपनी पीठ पर बैठा दो, और नाला पार करके वो लक्ष्य तक जल्दी पहुंच गए। तो इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस इज ऑलवेज लेस देन ग्रुप परफॉर्मेंस। आपको ग्रुप में काम करने की क्षमता होनी चाहिए। जहां पर भी आप काम करो, you will get better result if you perform in a group. So I urge each and every one of you to seize the opportunity to engage actively, collaborate passionately, and cultivate innovative ideas that will shape the future of data science and engineering application. Let us not only seek to understand the world as it is, but also envision the world as it could be, guided by the principles of curiosity, creativity, and compassion. As an admirer of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, I share his tremendous faith that science and technology alone could solve the multiple challenges faced by the humanity. Only science can do. Very important contribution made by our first Prime Minister of India. He was responsible for starting IITs and so many big institutions. He was aware. He was a BSc from London, Cambridge. He was man of science. So you can understand his vision at that time. Friends, Swami Vivekananda said that the education is complete only when one's head, hand and heart get enriched through knowledge, skill and commitment. But for all these things, time management is very important in life. बच्चे आप लोग हर रोज मोबाइल पे, फेसबुक पे, व्हाट्सएप पे लगे हुए हो। यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम। यू डोंट नो व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ दिस टाइम। जो आपको अभी टाइम मिला है जिंदगी में कभी नहीं मिलेगा। जितने बड़े आदमी बने उन्होंने टाइम मैनेजमेंट किया अपनी लाइफ में। समय नदी की धार है, उसमें सब बह जाया करते हैं, पर होते हैं कुछ लोग ऐसे जो इतिहास रचाया करते हैं। कुछ लोग थे कि वक्त के सांचे में ढल गए और कुछ लोग थे कि वक्त के सांचे बदल गए। मित्रों, वक्त की कीमत समझो। वक्त आएगा, वक्त जाएगा, वक्त को वक्त से संभाल के रखना, ये वक्त ही बेवक्त काम आएगा। मुझे यहाँ सब बैठे हैं, बच्चे सब आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं। हर आदमी जीवन में आप एजुकेशन में सफल होना चाहते हैं। मैं एक छोटा सा सफलता का मंत्र दे रहा हूँ आपको। यदि आप सफल होना चाहते हो जिंदगी में, तो क्या करना है? पैर में चक्कर, मुंह में शक्कर, दिल में क्रांति और दिमाग में शांति। पैर में चक्कर, कर्मण्येवाधिकार से, जो भी आपने लक्ष्य बनाया अपने जीवन में, उसके प्रति सजग रह करके कर्म करते रहो, लगातार चलायमान रहो, अपने आप को अपडेट करते रहो। वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, कर्मण्येवाधिकार से, पैर में चक्कर, मुंह में शक्कर। एक अच्छी पर्सनैलिटी के लिए यदि आप अच्छा वाणी आपकी नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे पुराने लोगों ने कहा है कि ऐसी वाणी बोलिए मन का आपाप होए और रंग को शीतल लगे, आप वो शीतल होए। भगवान ने भी हमारी जीभ पे हड्डी नहीं दी है, खुदा को भी नहीं मंजूर शक्ति बया में, शायद इसीलिए नहीं दी हड्डी जवाब में। जिस जीभ के अंदर हड्डी नहीं है, जिस जीभ के अंदर हड्डी नहीं है, लेकिन ये ऐसी बातें बोल करके आपकी हड्डियां तोड़वा सकती है। तो इसको संभाल के रखना है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फॉर पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट। पैर में चक्कर, मुंह में शक्कर, दिल में क्रांति, जुनून होना चाहिए, कन्विक्शन, दृढ़ निश्चय आपके लक्ष्य के प्रति होना चाहिए। ऐसा दृढ़ निश्चय, एक बार समुद्र ने नदी को पूछा कि तुम हजारों सालों से मेरे अंदर गिरती रहती हो, कब तक गिरती रहोगी? क्या गजब का उत्तर दिया नदी ने कहा, मैं तेरे अंदर तब तक गिरती रहूंगी जब तक कि तेरा खारा पानी मेरे जैसा मीठा नहीं होता। ऐसा दृढ़ निश्चय होना चाहिए लक्ष्य के प्रति। पैर में चक्कर, मुंह में चक्कर, दिल में क्रांति और दिमाग में शांति। यदि आपका माइंड डिस्टर्ब है तो आप कुछ भी काम अच्छी तरह नहीं कर सकते हो। तो आप मेडिटेशन करिए, फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज करिए। इट इज आल्सो ए पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ। यू वांट टू बिकम हैप्पी इन योर लाइफ, तो ये सब चीजें होनी चाहिए। मुझे तो याद आता है स्टीव जॉब्स, आप सब कंप्यूटर के लोगों, आईफोन और आपका जो एप्पल कंप्यूटर बनाने वाला वो आदमी जिसकी 2011 में पैंक्रियाटिक कैंसर से मौत हो गई थी। कोई यूनिवर्सिटी की डिग्री नहीं थी उसके पास, उसने कुछ कैलीग्राफी के कोर्स किए थे और देखो इनोवेशन, क्या आइडिया था उसका, और टॉप मोस्ट इंडस्ट्री उसने सेटअप की। उसको एक यूनिवर्सिटी ने कॉन्वोकेशन के लिए चीफ गेस्ट बनाया। वहाँ उसने बहुत लंबा चौड़ा कॉन्वोकेशन का एड्रेस दिया, लेकिन उसने सफलता के लिए दो बातें कही जो हम सब पर लागू होती। He said, if you want to become successful in your life, stay hungry and stay foolish. That is the key of success. Stay hungry, भूखे रहो, stay foolish, बेवकूफ बने रहो। सफलता का यही है। Stay hungry, not for physical pleasure in life. बड़ा बंगलो मिल जाए, बड़ी गाड़ी मिल जाए, no. He said, stay hungry for knowledge. ज्ञान की पिपासा होनी चाहिए। आपको आश्चर्य हुआ जब वो डेथ बेड पर था, उसको पता था 6 महीने में वो मर जाएगा। उस समय भी उसने 5 आविष्कार किए थे। किसके लिए कर रहा था साहब वो? समाज के लिए। जिंदगी की खूबसूरती इसमें नहीं है कि आप कितने खुश हैं, जिंदगी की खूबसूरती इसमें कि आपसे कितने लोग खुश हैं। हमारा उद्देश्य समाज की सेवा करना है कि रोशनी अगर मिले अंधेरे को, आदमी तरसे नहीं सवेरे को, और मजबूर ना रहे दुनिया में कोई, आओ रोशन करे हर बसेरे को। ये उद्देश्य होना चाहिए जिंदगी में। उस आदमी का स्टे हंग्री एंड दूसरी बात की स्टे फुलिश, बेवकूफ बने रहो। क्या गजब की बात है। आज क्या होता है, थोड़ा सा आपने रिसर्च कर लिया, पीएचडी कर लिया और कुछ पेपर कर लिया, कुछ पेटेंट करा लिया, अपने आप को तुरंत का समझते हैं मेरे जैसा कोई ज्ञानी नहीं है। और जिस दिन ये भाव आपके अंदर आ गया, आपका डाउनफॉल शुरू हो जाएगा। स्टे हंग्री टिल योर डेथ, मरते दम तक कुछ नया इनोवेशन करो। दिस इज वे ऑफ लाइफ, ये होना चाहिए। मैं 90 साल का होऊंगा, काम करो, लेकिन आप कंट्रीब्यूट। रिटा हो गया तो क्या हो गया? तो ही वाज द मैन जिसने कहा, पहचान बनाई उसने, काम करो ऐसा कि पहचान बन जाए और हर कदम चलो ऐसा कि निशान बन जाए। हमें जिंदगी तो सभी जी लेते हैं, जिंदगी ऐसे जियो कि मिसाल बन जाए। और ये तभी होगा जब आप काम करोगे, काम करना पड़ेगा। जितने बड़े बड़े वैज्ञानिक हैं, ये बड़े बड़े जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं ना, इनको देखने से कुछ नहीं होगा। ये तो आईने हैं कि आईने को देखा तो क्या कमाल किया, आईने को देखा तो क्या कमाल किया। आईना खुद बनो जो दुनिया तुमको देखे। तो वो कब होगा जब आप अपने कर्म के द्वारा, अपनी एफिशिएंसी के द्वारा प्रूव करना पड़ेगा आपको, पहचान छोड़नी पड़ेगी आपको कि मैं कुछ कर सकता हूँ, मैं कुछ कर सकती हूँ। बड़े बड़े वैज्ञानिकों ने काम किया। मैं तो कहता हूँ आप सब लोगों को अपनी जिंदगी के अंदर जीएसटी लागू करना चाहिए। सरकार ने तो टैक्स के रूप में जीएसटी लागू किया है, लेकिन जीएसटी का मतलब मैंने दूसरा निकाला है, जी गुड थिंकिंग, अच्छी सोच होनी चाहिए, जो आजकल नहीं होती है। अच्छी सोच, आपका प्लानिंग, जिंदगी का क्या करना है, उद्देश्यपूर्ण जिंदगी होनी चाहिए, गुड थिंकिंग। दूसरा है एस, सिंपल लाइफ। आज क्या हो रहा है, हमने अपनी लाइफ को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना दिया। मुझे तो याद आ रहा है आइंस्टीन, जिसने E.m.c² थ्योरी दी, थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिविटी। कई लोग समझ नहीं पाए, ऐसी कॉम्प्लेक्स थ्योरी देने वाला आदमी को एक बार संवाददाताओं ने पूछा कि सर आप नहाने के लिए और शेव बनाने के लिए एक ही साबुन इस्तेमाल करते हैं क्या? गजब का उत्तर दिया आइंस्टीन ने। उसने कहा आई डू नॉट वांट टू मेक माई लाइफ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, इसके लिए ये करूँ, इसके लिए ये करूँ। और आज टॉयलेट में चले जाओ, 10 तरह के लिपस्टिक, 10 तरह के शैम्पू। कोरोना पीरियड था, अरे मेरा मास्क है वो भी साइंस से मिल जाता है कि नहीं खाता है। We have made our life complicated. Why? To be simple, good thinking, simple living and tension free life. अब अधिकतर प्रॉब्लम्स का टेंशन की वजह से हो रही है। मेरा क्या होगा, नौकरी मिलेगी कि नहीं, शादी होगी कि नहीं। 99% आज स्ट्रेस है। स्ट्रेस इज वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट रीजन फॉर टेंशन, एंड स्ट्रेस इज ड्यू टू 3 थिंग्स इन लाइफ: हरी, वरी एंड हरी। हरी, you want to become billionaire hurriedly, you want to get some top post hurriedly, मोटरसाइकिल हरीडली चलाओगे आप, हर चीज फास्ट करना चाहते हो, one of the reason for stress. Worry, we do 99% worry which never happened in your life, but you are making your life stressful, unnecessary. And the C, curry, the type of junk food which this new generation is eating nowadays, pizza and momo and I don't know so many names for stress. So friends, बहुत सारी बातें मैंने आपसे कही, लेकिन मैं चाहता हूँ कि आज तो लोगों का जमीन भरा हुआ। हम आए दिन अखबार में पढ़ते हैं, उसके रिश्वत के लिए उसके करोड़ों रुपए इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बॉन्ड हो गए। क्या हो रहा है इस देश में? जमीन जिंदा रख। जमीर जिंदा रख, कबीर जिंदा रख, सुल्तान भी बन जाए तो बनता फकीर जिंदा रख, लालच दिखा न पाए तुझे, आंखों में वो नीर जिंदा रख, और हौसलों की तरकश में कोशिशों के तीर जिंदा रख। कोशिश तो करनी पड़ेगी, कोशिश तो हल निकलेगा, आज नहीं तो कल निकलेगा। अर्जुन के तीर था सब, मरुस्थल में भी जल्द निकलेगा। कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी। You have to work hard for your aim. जो भी आपने उद्देश्य बनाया है, उद्देश्यपूर्ण जिंदगी में आप शुरू से कह रहा हूँ कि हार्ड वर्क एंड परसिवरेंस इज द की ऑफ सक्सेस। देयर इज नो शॉर्टकट फॉर सक्सेस। आपको मंजिल तो मिल ही जाएगी, कई लोग तो निकले नहीं अभी, मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी, भटकते ही सही। गुमराह तो वो है जो घर से निकले ही नहीं। आप तो निकल चुके हो, तो आपको रास्ता मिलेगा। मैं आप लोगों को ये कहना चाह रहा था कि बहुत सारी बातें मैंने की है, बट फ्रेंड्स आई डू नॉट वांट टू इलिमिनेट व्हाट वी हैव डन सो फार. We want to grow further and keep on growing. We talk of progress. I am reminded to the word of Ronald Osborne. He said, I quote, unless you try to do something beyond what you have already mastered, you will never grow. Unquote. तो जो हो चुका है उसके आगे आप क्या कर रहे हो नया? ये नहीं कि रिपीटेटिव थीसिस बने जा रही है, एक नकल मार मार करके पास हो रहे हैं और पीएचडी इस देश में क्या हो रहा है एजुकेशन में? तो ये देखिए, आप कुछ नया करें, अपने आप को एस्टेब्लिश करें और पहचान छोड़ें। और आप बोले कि जरूरों में रह गुजर की चमक छोड़ जाएंगे, पहचान अपनी दूर तक छोड़ जाएंगे। खामोशियों की मौत गवार नहीं, हमें शीशा है टूट कर भी खनक छोड़ जाए। पहचान छोड़ करके जाना है दुनिया से। So friends, in closing, I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizers, sponsors and participants for their tireless efforts and unwavering commitment to the academic excellence. एक बात और ध्यान आ रही है, जो बच्चे बैठे हुए हैं तो कई बातें लगती हैं। एक बार एक लोहार का लड़का स्कूल से गलती करा गया, तो लोहार के लड़के ने उसको पूछा कि पापा बेटा मनुष्य तो अनमोल है। उसने कहा अरे पापा सब मनुष्य अनमोल है। उसने कहा हाँ सब कैसे अनमोल हो सकते, कुछ तो बड़ा डायरेक्टर बने हुए हैं, कोई प्रोफेसर है, हम तो कुछ नहीं है, कोई बहुत धनवान है, बहुत बेटा अंदर से लोहे की रोड ला। उसको पूछा लोहे की रोड इसकी क्या कीमत होगी? उसने कहा पापा 200 रुपये। उसने कहा इसकी कीलें बना लूँ तो 1000 हो जाएगी पापा, यदि इसकी स्प्रिंग बना लूँ तो लाखों हो जाएगी। अरे पापा फिर इसकी कंप्यूटर चिप या कुछ और चीजें नैनो पार्टिकल बना लूँ तो फिर तो लाठी बनाते हो, स्प्रिंग बनाते हो या नैनो पार्टिकल बनाते हो, ये आप पर निर्भर करता है कौन कितनी मेहनत करके अपने आप को आगे एस्टेब्लिश करता है। इसीलिए सब में May this conference be a source of inspiration, enlightenment and collaboration for all who partake in its proceedings. Thank you, and may the spirit of inquiry and innovation guide us on our quest of knowledge and truth. मेरा तो यही संदेश है आप लोगों को कि कुछ न कुछ करते जाओ, समय का महत्व समझो। अब आप लोगों में से कई बच्चे आते हैं, चेयरमैन साहब के पास प्रिंसिपल में जाओगे, सर अब ये नहीं है, लैब में ये खराबी है, इसमें ये नहीं है, टीचर नहीं है। हम भारतीयों की आदत है दूसरों की गलतियां निकाल के खुश होते हैं। जब आदमी खा पी करके मोटा हो जाता है तो कहता कभी छोटी हो गई, अरे तू मोटा हो गया लेकिन कभी की गलती निकालता है। एक खता गलती, एक खता ताउम्र हम करते रहे, धूल चेहरे पे भी आईना साफ करते। मित्रों, समय की बात सह लेना, नहीं रुकना मेरे साथी। जैन में दूध से बनकर लपट उठना मेरे साथी, जहां पर सख्त हो मिट्टी वही उठना मेरे साथी, और जले रहना मशालों में नहीं बुझना मेरे साथी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much, sir, for such enlightening thoughts. Your positive energy is really contagious. I hope everybody would agree. So let's put again our hands together for sir. Now I request all the dignitaries to kindly take their seats downstage and join the audience. Students with paper ID 205 and 311, get ready with your presentation because after a few speeches of the keynote speakers, you will be presenting here. Now I request Mr. Praveen Sharma sir, Vice President Lisney, to kindly come here on stage and say a few words. Sir, please.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Respected Chief Guest Sir, Praveen Sir, Chairman Sir, Principal Sir, all dignitaries, dear students and faculty. Really, we are indebted and we extend our profuse gratitude to all the scholars who are present over here with such a vast background of research. So really, I don't have words for the speech form in the society further. So hats off to Praveen sir for such an enlightening speech. In fact, in such a short time, Praveen sir has covered everything what is expected from innovators like you. So without taking much of time, because there is a whole session ahead, I would definitely say that take maximum out of this session, because कहता है कि रनर होगा तो दुनिया खुद कदर करेगी, एड़िया ऊंचे करने से किरदार बड़े नहीं होते। थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Thank you so much, sir, for your thoughts. I now request a respected guest, Dr. Emmanuel Shubhankar Pillai, to please say a few words and praise us. Dr. Emmanuel Shubhankar Pillai, sir, please come up on the stage.
DC Trivedi ji, Rajkumar Khatoi ji, Dr. Sumit, Dr. Dinesh, Dr. Manju and Dr. IC Sharma and faculty members and dear students. It's a great joy for me to be here to share a few thoughts, few minutes. Sir has given an inspiring thought to us. From there, I just, because it's the conference on data science and engineering applications, I just want to share a few thoughts on what you need to really pick up and where we are going, because a lot of papers will be presented, and of course, Dr. Sumit will be presenting on data science and other aspects as well. I just want to quickly take you through a few thoughts. Data, if you see, has no meaning unless and until there is a context applied to it. It becomes information. If you see a red light and you are approaching it, there is no, and there is a location or some numbers associated with that, it doesn't have any sense. But then if you put it in context, that it is a red signal and it is in a particular location, it makes some more sense. But then when you put that into your own application, it becomes knowledge. When you say that you are traveling towards that red signal and you are fast approaching it, then you think about it, it becomes knowledge for you. And then when you apply it, it becomes wisdom. So then you need to understand that you need to stop because you are approaching a red signal in a particular location. So data, information, knowledge and wisdom. And the whole world is after data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning and all this. Only for this reason is that they have a lot of data. If you look at earlier days, the amount of storage that was, when I was doing my MTech dissertation, I had a 4.3 GB hard disk in my computer with 32 MB RAM. And that was an MTech dissertation I was doing, very high speed, high profile computer. Today you see that it is nothing. Even your mobile will have a very powerful processor and things like that. But then as you see that whole change of what kind of data you used to store, in my mobile phone, I could not store 100 phone numbers. Email would give me 100 MB of storage. If you could think of those situations where that 100 MB was getting full, then you had to delete. But today, you have so much of information. If you look at it, runs into a few terabytes. And then everything is given free. At one point of time, email was being paid. But later, again, it became free. Gmail and others came. Why are they all providing it free? Why is YouTube free? Why is Gmail free? Why is any of the services that we use free of cost? Why are they giving? Why is WhatsApp maintaining so much of data for us? If you want to retrieve any information which you sent 2-3 years ago, you can still have it. Yesterday I was looking at Google Photos. Some 10 years ago I wanted some pic. I thought I remembered, and I thought Google would have stored it, and I got it. Of a 2014 photograph I could get from Google Photos because it automatically stored from my mobile. Why are they giving all these facilities? If you understand, data is very important because data is the new oil, they say. A lot of Gulf countries became very rich because they had oil. Today, anybody can become rich if he has understanding of data. And that's what this whole conference is about. And then earlier, it was, if you remember, you write a program and you have data, and the data goes to the processor. That was what was happening. But when data could not be stored on a single computer, that was the challenge because storage was limited. As I told you, Gmail came up with a unlimited storage kind of thing where you could store so much of data. 15 GB of data was given, but there were email IDs. Yahoo. Where I remember, I had a limitation on 1 MB. Later it became 100 MB, something like that. You cannot think of that. Few files, few PDFs, and your data is over. So that is the time where we are taking the data to the processor, getting it executed and coming back. That was what was the situation earlier. You would write a program, you store the data somewhere, and in fact you enter it from your keyboard, it gets computed. Very few you work with files, right? And when you read some database programming, then you realize that okay, you store the data in tables, and then you work with the tables, retrieve data, store data, and manipulate it. So that was what? Because the data was taken to the processor would do the calculations and send it back the result. But when data became so huge, what to do? You can't store it on a single machine. Then came a whole paradigm shift. What was the paradigm shift? It moved from storing data on a single system to storing data in few different servers. And then data was stored in different systems. And instead of the data going to the processor, they sent the processing power to the data. So they divided in one powerful computer, you could take all the data and run it. Now there is a whole paradigm shift as you look at it. The data is stored in 100 machines, and then you have a single program going to those 100 machines and running. There was this paradigm called Hadoop, if you have looked at, right? The Hadoop distributed file system, which actually stores a large file into multiple systems. There was a change. Take data to code was the thought, but later people could not take data to code because data became huge. Now what to do? Take code to data. A different thought. It was exciting, and it is now. This was some 2003, 2004. First time I heard about Hadoop. Studying in IIT Roorkee was in 2012, 2013. In MNIT, we conducted a workshop on big data in 2013. We are 10 years behind schedule already. Now it is already 10 years. And if you just open the Hadoop, there's an ecosystem. Maybe most of you use GitHub. So go and look up the GitHub Hadoop distribution, the Hadoop ecosystem. You know, there are some 300 different tools or softwares that are part of the ecosystem. Now what all you will learn, MapReduce, Spark, so many things, they are gone. Then another thought process I want to bring before you. Earlier it was Pentium, you would have heard about Intel. I don't know how many of you would have started your life with Core 2 Duo. Most of you are not even worried now these days because your mobile phone has more powerful processor than your system. So it was a single core processor, P4. It was not four cores. In fact, Core 2 Duo had two cores, right? And now, as you have i3, i5, and i7, i9 also has come. How many cores? Even in anybody knows? i7, how many cores? It's still 2 cores only. And then some models of i7 have 4 cores. And then now i9 is coming out with a little more cores. And then the processing speed is still there, 2 gigahertz. I started working on a server when I was doing MTech, as I told you, in 2002 or 3, 20 years ago. It was 200 megahertz. Then when I started teaching in a college, couple of years later, 2006 or 2008, right? There it was 2 gigahertz. Now 20 years later, it is still 2 gigahertz. What is the powerful speed of a processor as you look at? Anybody has a very powerful laptop and then What is the speed of the processor? Something like 4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. It's still 2 gigahertz. So what happened? There is another change happened. So if you want you can't increase the processor speed. Why you can't increase? Earlier I thought air conditioning for computer science students was because it was special branch, people pay more money. That's why they were given air conditioning. Later I realized it was not for the fees or for the students. It is because of the systems. The processors need to be cooled, right? So if you increase the speed, if it makes 4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, the processor will burn. So then there came a big revolution. Instead of running the same thing, doing a very powerful thing on a single machine, why don't we do it on 2 machines in a single chip? There, that came dual core machines or multi-core machines, right? But then still we don't have very powerful cores running, maybe 4 core machines. Only our mobiles have 8 core Snapdragon, right? And you have very powerful graphics running because of that. Then came the graphics processor, which moved and made the cores more, as you see. What happened? There came a graphical processing unit called GPU. Now most of you want to work on data science. Now how do you run these codes? Where do you execute it? Because huge amount of data, huge power is required. CPUs can't manage it. Hundreds of CPUs, you can put a server farm, hundreds of CPUs together, create a cluster, create a grid, it won't be sufficient. So there's a change in thought process. Then they came in with what is called the graphical processing unit. It was initially we thought it was programming games and things like that. That was what it was used for, watching movies, entertainment. But then slowly GPUs started becoming powerful for programming, and we started using GPUs for programming. And that's why when you go, and maybe some of you are working with Colab on Google, right? And then actually Google Colab is not working on CPUs, but a combination of CPUs and GPUs. The code has to run. So I'll give you a simple, most of you have done a matrix multiplication, 3 by 3 matrix, 5 by 5 matrix maybe. If I ask you to do a 10,000 by 10,000 matrix, what will happen? How will you manage it? How will you feed the data? So that's why that was a simple process that people thought about. How do I manage it? Now just imagine if 10,000 by 10,000 matrices have been multiplied, it will run 3 loops running 10,000 by 10,000 times. Just imagine what is the time complexity. And you will have to sit waiting before your system. You may run. I mean, you can run a prime number program, check whether a number is prime or not. In 1 second, you will get the result. Write a simple program, first 1,000 primes. See what happens. Your system will start printing prime numbers after 500. It will take a long time to check that loop. Just imagine, if you have not done that, just go back today after this session and just run a code for first 500 prime numbers. It's a simple code. You put it into a loop, a prime number program, put it in the loop and print it. But then once it crosses a certain number, it takes time to print the numbers. So if you just imagine a 10,000 by 10,000 matrix becomes difficult. How do we do it? So then people say, while 10,000 elements are being multiplied by another 10,000 elements, why can't I pick up the next 10,000 elements multiplied with the next 10,000 elements at the same time? So then the whole paradigm shifted, where I didn't need very powerful processor which was running a powerful program, but they wanted small power. Now what would happen? A GPU, as I was just looking up in the internet, a simple GeForce NVIDIA GPU will have some 16,000 cores. 2-core i7 processor getting heated up. But when you have 16,000 cores and a H100 processor, I don't know, I was just looking up, but internet was not working here. So I could not, maybe when internet, I don't know, you may get a connection to the GIT net. I was wanting to ask the password, but anyway, that's fine. You can look up what is the number of cores in a H100 GPU. How many cores are there, and then what it can do. So that's the thought process that we're trying to look at. And when you do that, what will happen? You have more cores. Now, simple question. When 2 cores generate so much of heat, why not 16,000 cores? Why can't they generate so much heat as well? What would they have done? It's a very simple solution actually. But unfortunately, we have stopped thinking. Right? People tell us something, do this, we'll run it. People tell us do this, we'll do it. And in a lot of papers also, people will tell you work on TensorFlow, you'll learn TensorFlow. People will tell you pick up Python, you will do it. NumPy, what is that? Matplotlib. Very easy, you'll pick up all those things. Hadoop, Spark, MapReduce, so many things you can learn. It's easy. We have been trained to learn. हमें सिखाया गया कि आप इस्तेमाल करना सीखो. What I am challenging you today is start thinking. I don't want to be a user, I want to be a creator. And we have been left behind, much left behind. Right? Because if you go to any browser, it is not Indian. You go to an operating system, it is not Indian. You go to a processor, it is not Indian. We are using. You go to MS Office, hardly one software that I could think of which is made in India is Wiki. I was just discussing with Sumitji, right? Apart from that, made in India kind of software, they are not there. And that's what I'm looking at, and that's what Professor Trivedi was mentioning. Please start working. Because these are the thoughts that you need to look at. And we are 20 years behind schedule. And the government of India is trying to work hard. Make in India. So many processors, manufacturing companies are being started. A lot of funding is going to come in. And if you think about, we have blockchains, so many blockchains, you may be interested in blockchain also. And data science, very strong application on data science. If you look at blockchain data is freely available. You can download the entire blockchain data. The database of Bitcoin database is freely available. Just connect it and you can download. You can set up a software called Bitcoin Core. Download the software and start doing data science coding. Other data sets you download from different places, right? KD nuggets and different machine learning data sets are there, and you have Kaggle and so many places you can get, and you can run those programs, and you can learn scikit-learn, you can learn Weka, and of course the GPU libraries, CNN, RNN, and all that. So all these things are tools which we use. I am looking at we need to master these tools at the earliest and slowly move on to create such tools. Very long distance for us. But I came here just to share this thought that we can master data science easily and we can take up careers in data science and you will be very happy earning a lot of money. But you are working for somebody else and somebody else is making that money. And what we need to use our Indian mind is to develop things for India. So as you work, as you earn money, nothing wrong in it, please do it. Given an opportunity, I would also want to do that. But then, while this is being done, let us do something for our country. That's what I want to underline. So these thoughts of there is no Indian-made blockchain. I heard a word called Lakshmi coin. You browse and check up. Lakshmi coin was a coin which was tried to create by an Indian blockchain, but didn't take off because we are not there. And many of these blockchain management people are using a lot of Indian engineers, I would say. We are all working for them, but we are not creating our own. So I would just want to leave these words with you to pick up some of these words and try to see where is the challenge. The thought was my question I want to answer. When so many cores are there, why is the heat not generated? When few cores generate a lot of heat in Intel, I7, because 2 gigahertz and 2 cores. But here you have 16,000 cores. What can happen? We need to reduce the speed. Right? Few megahertz. For each core, a few megahertz. It will do small jobs, but do many of them. So now, GPU, that's so powerful. Can we throw our CPUs? No. Hadoop has come. Can we stop learning databases? Can we throw away SQL, MySQL? No. Each has its own place. So whether cloud comes, whether metaverse comes, or any of these, please focus on the fundamental things, and then you need to quickly adapt. Otherwise, you will be left behind. So my challenge to you is pick up some of these concepts, maybe blockchain, maybe metaverse, maybe quantum. All are difficult, but nothing is. I mean, you would not have studied most of these concepts when you are reaching final year. When you look at the first year courses, you will feel that ये तो बहुत easy है. It's because you started working with them. And I think that's what I would like to conclude with what DC Trivedi sir said. Start working. Get hands-on. And all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wise words. Now I request Dr. Sumit Srivastava, sir, to kindly come and enlighten the students with his words. Sir, please.
Morning, everyone. Okay, so before the presentation gets started, let's go to, I was listening to the previous keynotes, and it made me raise some of the basic questions that a student must understand. To start my presentation, a very basic question. What does SATA full form is? What is the full form of a SATA? Maybe you can search this thing on the net during the presentation. It's an Advanced Technology Attachments, ATA stands for, and we can have serial Advanced Technology Attachments. And what exactly, as listening to Placer, you can understand how exactly a parallel Advanced Technology Attachment converts to a serial Advanced Technology Attachments. It may generate a curiosity among you how exactly the data gets stored. So moving forward, I work with a field of data science, still struggling because every data environment is changing out, and I'm finding out that there is a lot of verticals that we need to explore. So I'm coming up with the case studies with which currently my BTech students are working, and some of the case studies require a deeper understanding. Some of them can be done at the very basic levels. So next slide, please. This is an outline of presentation where we are, where actually we should be. As Cyrus said out, we are 20 years behind. We can say this thing that in terms of data, we are very good. But if we say in terms of the knowledge that can be captured from our data, we are all out. Based on the data is almost 20 years behind. So moving to, please. Next one. Okay, this is the current state of data science in India. If I say this, we are mainly focusing on artificial intelligence, though we have the large language models in the market. We are currently focusing on natural language processing, though we understand that AI robots can understand a more better chatbot. It can be a more better chatbot in comparison to a normal natural language processing. We are looking at big data processing, cloud computing. Now the companies actually start shifting from a decentralized architecture to a centralized one in terms of cloud computing. But what exactly you are not finding out over here is that we are not dealing up with the last part of this particular state. You can say the last part of this particular state. We are calling this as big data. We do not understand the volume, the veracity, and if you say the data is being large, we do not have the concept of scalability where we are actually looking at. Next. So, that is the transition state where people are talking in India that we are inference models, new developed what is AI. We are saying this. This exists and this is creating a market nowadays that you should understand generative AI, explainable AI. Responsible AI, I heard this thing a few days back. Working out with one of my students. And the last thing is, make use of this particular thing democratically so that it doesn't create a noise in the market that something has been done with this data. So, This is a transition. These things, if we want to move a level x plus 2, we can't say x is to power n, we are saying x plus 2, we should move and we should know this thing. Now when we move to the future state, the next slide, this is something where we should land up maybe 7 years down the line. We are talking of edge computing. They exist edge computing and it's a we have said out that we are working out with one of the trains in which we have implemented a quantum computing architecture. We are saying that we are working out with this. Currently, through we are finding out almost some of the ISCs and IITs are working on this. And last one is focus on explainability and test. We have come into picture. We are saying management, authentications, authorizations. This must come into picture. Remember this when we are implementing so much peculiar, so much precise that he should understand feeding of the data. A very simplest thing we done out is we are using a toll plaza. Yesterday, the thing happens with me. I am moving out of the toll plaza. If my vehicle is not able to capture by a device, I am manually entering the things. And just a mistake of a single digit these have been cut out from my particular account. And my vehicle was parked in Manipal University, Jaipur. Account has been cut at Sawai Madhopur. Just a single digit mistake. Understand this? So I rushed to the ground saying this thing where someone is so that was a condition. The last thing which is of importance is data science experts or the people who are saying that they are data science expert must be so strong with their communications, so precise with their data that it sustains with these conditions and these technologies in the market. And especially the last one where you're saying that you're coming. Next one. So I'm coming to case studies that make you feel interested. Case studies which we have already did. We are to the transition states where we are applying generative AIs or the explainable AIs or the responsible AIs to making it more better. Next one. So my first one is a case study which a BTech student has done. Just move to the next one, please. Tell us the next. Okay. Fine. So competition of bird club. Every year the bird club is launched. 2024 bird club says I have a bird acoustic. मेरे पास एक बर्ड का साउंड है, मुझे उस साउंड को सुनना है और बताना है स्पीशीज कौन सी है. सेकेंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट ने कहा सर ये मेरा माइनर प्रोजेक्ट है. Done. He comes to us. Scale करता हूँ ना, scale of 10 I give you 4. He said I want to scale it out. I come up with another idea. Husband and wife are fighting. In the background I have a bird acoustic. So I have a human acoustic fighting along with a bird voice at the back end. Third intervention what I've done it is human and husband and wife fighting in a metro and I have a bird acoustic. So I have 3 acoustic signals available, overlaid over each other, and you come up with a segregation of each of them, that human voice, male and female, bird voice with the species, and the metro, and the person is interacting in an environment. Person is interacting in an environment. It can be a metro, it can be a taxi, it can be etc. Student taken up the challenge and he set out, he developed a framework. Done. Now, we are asked to test the framework. What we have done is, we reverse the situation. Bird was the foreground noise, man and women fighting for the background noise, and the environment is the same. And the model works perfectly. Now, next one, please. We ask him, fair enough, if the testing bird is successfully working, he said, sir, what should be done next? Any idea? What can be done next? We are scaling the project. He started with a bird project. We scaled up to a location. He has developed 3 clusters, 3 LSTM models. In 3 LSTM models, he is identifying the different architectures and he is ending up with the different scenarios. The next one, we raise the scaling of the object if the person is chatting whether the person is suffering from autism or not. I scaled the project to that particular level. And the question comes, why the student was interested? And he's done this particular project in 15 days. He met me on 5th of April. By 20th of April, he's come up with a solution. The answer he's given is, the day I have written this statement of purpose with this particular project, I get a call from DRDO, I get a call from IIT Jammu, and I am joining IISc Bangalore on 20th of May because of the project. See, the scaling of the project has fetched something interesting in the market. And autism spectrum disorder currently is working out. Slide next. And this is what exactly the framework he has attached with his statement of purpose. Only a single framework that is developed. Whichever data set you think of, put this thing in this particular framework, it comes out with the exact segregation of the data. It was the student Harsh who has done this, a team which is developed. But the idea was, I scaled the project. I am looking at a project which can work out with the current state. The next idea that I have set out and I left out till the examinations are over is, can you apply generative AI in this? The last thing that I have left out in this particular idea. So, understand this. Easiest thing, deep learning is a black box. Unless and until you understand the maths behind this, deep learning is a black box. So we have started working on this, we are scaling the ideas. My next 2 case studies, in fact next 3 case studies is again, the ideas will scale up to a level. Should we move forward? Any questions coming up for this? It's a project on Kaggle. You see the Bird Club 2024. You can just search out on the Google. You are finding out these things are working. Next one. So the next goes to the human body. I move from an acoustic signal, which I am listening in terms of a signal values. I move to a human body, and I have 3 such projects which have been worked out in a human body. Next one. Okay, case number 1, lung disease. So lungs have been set out as been infected with pneumonia, with the past years with COVID, with the past years with TB, past years with pulmonary cancer, one of the finest disease, all the rare disease you are finding out in terms of a cancer being available in the lungs. I have an asthma, I have static fibrosis, I have a pulmonary fibrosis. Lungs में इतने सारे infections हैं, oxygen कहाँ से आएगी ये पता नहीं. This is what exactly we done out. And a doctor has said to me, the next one, I give you one X-ray. From this particular X-ray, you need to identify minimum 5 classes of diseases. 2 has been identified, 3 has been identified. You want to scale up this particular concept and want to say this thing, instead of 3 and 4, I'm looking out 5 classes of the diseases that need to be applied and then need to be solved. The images were less. We applied the various architectures to work out on this. Next one. This is what something we have done. A simple architectures to start out. I started with GAN, generated multiple images of the same type. Applied a convolutional neural network, working out fine. Applied an ANN, working out fine. Applied an LSTM, further working out fine. I'm making use of generative AIs. I'm making use of generative AIs to checking out which features are supportable in terms of the classification of the data. I'm using generative AI and explainable AI to sharpen the line. These are the 2 major functions we used out in terms of how many classes can be identified at the same time. The idea was to come up with 5 such classes instead of 3 and 4. 3 already been done in the market. 3 has already been done in the market. 4th one is currently in process. The idea was by the doctor was to come up with 5 such architectures. So the model is under working. We have already identified 4. We are working on a 5th. If that can be done, it can be a great help for the medical industry. The next one, Parkinson. Everyone knows this. Alzheimer, you know this. Parkinson is something that you are busy with your mobile phones for quite often. You remain in isolation. You are working out with your mobile phones. You do not know whomsoever person passed out from nearby to you. This happens. This actually happens. And what actually does out is, आपके ब्रेन में एक डोपामाइन लिक्विड है जो कम होता जाएगा और सडनली एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आएगी जहाँ पे आपको एक पर्टिकुलर बैट्समैन का नाम याद रहना ये मुश्किल है कि आपको ये भी याद है कि मेरा हाथ मूव करेगा या नहीं करेगा. And this happens when you are not doing any physical activity for 1 hour a day in terms of a physical exercise being done. And that's why the people who are suffering from dopamines or who have the lower dopamine values or suffering from Parkinson, the idea was to identify at the early stages. It was identified at the age of 50 to 60. So you can say this thing. You are physically fit till 50 to 60, but when we move forward, it goes to 40 to 50. Maybe at your age, it goes to 30 to 40. So you start forgetting the things after 50. And that is where the idea was to identify the early Parkinson. So in case of a Parkinson, your brain squeeze. In case of an Alzheimer, your brain expand. That is where the difference comes. So the idea has been applied, it has been done. Again, you are check out at the last one. We have applied DPAN, we have applied GAN, we have applied search, cost optimizations, we have applied the GS and the GANs. So at the back end, GAN, CNN, LSTMs, they are the same. So that was the second idea that was developed by the doctors. The third one coming up is next one. The next one, bacterial infections. आपकी एक सेल है, सेल पे मैंने एक लिक्विड डाला, लिक्विड पेनिट्रेट करता है, आप बैक्टीरिया इन्फेक्टेड है, लिक्विड साइड एंड से बाहर निकल जाता है, बैक्टीरिया इन्फेक्टेड. बैक्टीरियल इनफेक्टेड इमेज, बट अगर बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन है, आपके बैक्टीरिया जो होंगे वो ब्लू होना स्टार्ट होंगे. नेक्स्ट वन, आपके बैक्टीरिया जो होंगे ब्लू होना स्टार्ट होंगे. नेक्स्ट वन, and finally you reach out to this particular stage. The idea was, it was done with a cancer cell laboratory at our university. Clinical tests उन्होंने हमें करके दिए. उन्होंने कहा आप इसमें एक मॉडल फिट कर दीजिए. आपके पास दो आर्किटेक्चर जिनसे आपको वर्कआउट. Number one is you need to identify whether my cell is healthy or infected. Whether my cell is healthy or infected, so red or blue, easiest to be done. Now instead of the second thing is, my infection can be in terms of a rectangle and my infection can be in terms of a circle. My infection is in terms of a rectangle and my infection is in the term of a circle. You need to identify both the types. So first thing is you need to identify whether I am infected or not. Secondly, you need to identify whether it is rectangularly affected or whether it has been circularly infected. So that is currently the research was going on, and this need to be identified within 20 seconds of the image being taken. 20 seconds in terms of the image being taken, otherwise it will reflect it across in terms of the image architecture. And the last one. Next slide please. Okay, guess what, you identify the company. It generates the music for you in 40 paisa. It generates the music for you in 40 paisa. Next slide please. Purchasing music is one of the fastest things. Access images is one of the finest domain. Understand this? I was simply working on this. The X is working out on any of the platforms. You think of any of the platforms, it is working out on that particular concept. And the last one is, it is dependent on the data analytics. So that is where my interest generated, and I come up with the next one, immediate next one. See what exactly it does in terms of data science. It makes use of a recommendation system. It's the easiest thing to be done. It is the easiest thing to be done. It makes use of the target marketing using the machine learning models. Again, easiest thing to be done. But it's selecting the songs and the audio text on the basis of a CNN model. It is selecting the songs and the audio text on the basis of a CNN model. That is where the interest comes into picture. I start working out with many other companies and finding out they are working on LSTM, CNN, ILN, and generative AI presenting the data. Any answer to this? Answer is next one. Spotify. For 40 paisa, this much analysis has been done. Just think of, for a 40 paisa, this much analysis has been done out. That is where the interest comes into picture, whether all the music industry is making use of the CNN for this. And that is again a research architecture given out to a second year student. And all this survey has been done by a first year student in terms of a domain in which he can work out for the next 4 years. So this was the last slide from my side. Next one. I just left you with a thought process where data science and computational sciences are working out. That's all from my side. You can reach out to me on the next slide, please, at sumit.srivastava, or you can visit General Manipal in case you want to do research on terms of the GPUs being applied. We have enough resources available. You can work out with the resources available. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. Now I'd like to call upon our students with paper ID 205 to come forward and present their paper. Paper ID 205.
Namaste and good morning everyone. Today we are here to present our paper titled The Application of Markov Chain in Linguistic Prediction by Utilizing its Inherent Information Entropy. Paper authors are Mr. Amit Kumar, Assistant Professor at GIT Jaipur, Mr. Pankaj Jain, Assistant Professor GIT Jaipur, Yash Sharma, Student at GIT Jaipur, and Pulkit Agarwal, Student at GIT. Our presentation will have following topics. We will start with the problem statement, what and why. After that, we will introduce you to stochastic models, and then we will see the literature review, and then we will delve into methodology, result analysis, application, conclusion, and future work. Coming to our first problem statement, what? So, when it comes to human language processing, linguistic models plays a fundamental role. It refers to a process where information about a word or a linguistic unit is activated before it is encountered in our minds. However, existing language models often struggle to capture the inherent uncertainty and randomness associated with these natural languages. This limitation can often lead to suboptimal performance, making various NLP tasks such as text generation and dynamic typing often difficult. The key challenge we are addressing lies in developing a model that can effectively harness and leverage the inherent probabilistic nature of natural language. Specifically, we need a model that can capture that can tap into the concept of information entropy, something that can measure randomness and uncertainty in order to make more accurate linguistic predictions. By incorporating fundamental principles from information theory, like Markov chain in our modeling approach, we have the potential to significantly improve the predictive capabilities of such models. More accurate linguistic prediction would often lead to more efficient and higher NLP systems across a wide variety of applications. The ability to quantify and account for the inherent uncertainty in languages through information entropy gives us a powerful tool to push the boundaries of what is achievable with the current language models. In the field of linguistics, stochastic models have proven to be particularly useful for predicting and analyzing natural languages. These models are mathematical models with elements of uh, randomness and probability, making them well suited for capturing the inherent uncertainty and variability present in the natural language. One of the most widely used stochastic model is Markov chain. Markov chain is a process which models transition between different state or event where the probability of moving to the next state or next event solely depends on the current state and not on the probability of its previous sequence of events. The application of Markov chain in linguistic prediction leverages a fundamental property of languages, that is information entropy. Information entropy. The application of Markov chain in linguistic prediction leverages a fundamental property of languages, that is information entropy. Information entropy is a concept from which actually defines a degree of uncertainty that is associated with a variable. Now coming to literature review, the application predictions have been explored by numerous researchers over notable studies by Chen in 2018 who employed Markov chains to predict the next word, improving the speed and accuracy in text entry systems. A study by Denver who utilized the Markov chain to model the syntactic structure of syntactic memory in 1990 hash-based Rosenfield's comprehensive review in 2000 statistical language and its development over the 2 decades, and we also discussed the future directions in this field, and some of those discussions are still high today. Now our research aims to contribute in the field where we want to make Markov chains by utilizing its inherent entropy to improve the linguistic predictions.
Thank you, Pulkit, for a great overview of Markov chain models. Now, let us first discuss again why we need Markov chain models. In today's era, we are exhaustively using generative models, right, which are increasing the computational loads on many servers. This report this says that 2030 will be emitting 1.8x more carbon emissions through this. So we want to try to compensate this, and we want to minimize the computational power used in the next keyword prediction and in the deep into the methodology of Markov chain models. Let's first start with how. So let us first start with how Markov chain models are trained. Training is basically like generative AI. We take a large amount of text data and we segregate it into segments. That is called tokenization. Then we build consecutive pairs for holding the information entropy. Suppose let's just have a sentence for an example. The quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now I have emphasized on the word quick and the lazy. So you can identify that after the word there are two basically probable statements, quick or lazy. Through that we can define their probabilities, and whenever we input the word the model can output with a 50% probability of lazy and a 50% probability of. That's how we are trying to deploy Markov chain models. The next step is generating a transition matrix for the probability distribution. So what we are trying to do is, for this corpus of text data, will generate the transition matrix for each state from current state to the next state. how we can calculate the next keyword predicted through the transition matrix. As you can see, the formula AX equals to B. X is the initial word pair which we will be inputting to the model. A is the transition which we to find out, and B is the resultant vector which has all the elements to which X can transfer with their transitional probabilities. Given an input word, we can generate the top next n words based on their probabilities for the model. So here you can see a multi-level chain. The first word the can be classified into is related to many of these words, and their transitional probability is marked there. And the next after that we have the next state. Consider this as an initial stage, then this as an intermediate stage, and after that we have the final stage. So we trained our model on the Mines Litigation Act, which has 22,407 words, and we got the top 5 most predictable for each word. Example, if we input the word mining, the predictions can be operations. So you can relate mining operations, that makes sense. Mining industry, mining activities, mining companies, and mining lease. These are the top next predicted words in the Designation Act, and are pretty much consistent with the provided. So in Markov chain, we leverage the linguistic entropy of the language, natural language. As in the basic sentence, the quick fox jump, but as we dwell deep and we give it a more and larger amount of data set, this transition matrix gets skewed. It gets favorable in the information entropy, which is inherited by the language itself. In this slide, you directly see the results for the mind and their probability. Now let us talk about some other applications of Markov chain models. With the ability to predict the next words, Markov chain models has various applications in various fields. For instance, mobile keyword typing. Right now we also have a mobile keyword typing and we have the next keyword prediction, but we are trying to reduce the computational power required to predict the next word. Next is Google search query. When we try to enter any Google search query, it gives us recommendation, and we are trying to reduce the computation power behind that, which gives us the recommended query. After that, we have the advanced voice recognition system. By incorporating Markov models in voice recognition systems, we can eliminate the noises and we can predict the next word efficiently. Next up, we have the chatbot and random sentence generations, which are exclusively used in generative AIs. And after that, we have proofreading and legitimacy checking of documents. So Markov chain models can also be utilized to check the legitimacy of a document by understanding the consistency of a particular writer or by understanding the consistency of a particular document provided. Next up, so concluded that we employed the Markov chain model for the next linguistic predictions, and we leverage the inherent language entropy. The Markov chain models were very superior and hold a very statistical point of view of the language, and it identifies the inherent entropy of the language. Now, future work. As far as we have discussed now, there are many future works possible on Markov chains. First, exploring the higher order Markov chain models. Right now, we are just dwelling deep into the first state order Markov chain models, in which the next state is basically dependent on the first initial state. It is not incorporating any other previous states. Next up, we have deep learning integration. Markov chain models can also be integrated with other deep learning approaches to make it more accurate and efficient. Larger and more diverse data. As it's a machine learning model, more larger and diverse data can help it to improve its accuracy and performances and make it a robust. Now, we have deployed a statistical learning model, so it can be static as well as dynamic. For instance, a static model has a predefined text data on which it will predict, but in a dynamic model, while you are typing, we can incorporate those typing probabilities into our model, and then we can profoundly predict the next keyword which is particularly derived for you. Thank you. Please, if you have any queries, please do it. Please, if anyone has any queries related to Markov chain models, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is to inform all the students, all the participants that there is a time limit of 10 minutes. So there will be a timer going on. Please don't exceed that time limit. This is also to inform you all that best 3 papers will be awarded at the end of this conference, and best 4 papers will be presented for Scopus, and the amount, that is 28K, will be paid by the college. So with this thing, I would like to invite our next set of students with paper ID 311. Please be on the stage and present your paper.
Good morning, everyone. Respected chief guests, all faculties and students. Today, I, Ruzul Umrania, and my teammate Spurs Gupta are going our presentation on the topic enhancing bank management system. And to enhance bank management, we have used the Salesforce technology. I hope you all are aware of what is Salesforce, right? As it is number 1 CRM for CRM platform. Basically, we have used this Salesforce technology to enhance our banking management system. Salesforce has helped in developing the front-end part. It has made our work a lot easier to design the front-end part portion especially. As you all know that the Salesforce technology is growing so much in India, especially in Jaipur. So we have used this technology here, and now my teammate Spurs Gupta will guide you further throughout the presentation.
Hello everyone, I'm Spurs Gupta, and I'm feeling blessed that I'm getting a chance to present our research paper. So let's begin the presentation. So these were the outline or topic which we have researched on in Salesforce and how we can use them in banking management system. So before starting my presentation, I want to ask you all a question what is the most important thing which we need to run a business? So if anyone know. Hello. Hello. So does anyone know? Okay. So the most important thing to run a business is sales. If we're not getting a sales, then we can't run a business. And to manage all the sales, we use the technology Salesforce. So firstly, I want to give you an introduction of Salesforce, like what Salesforce is. So Salesforce is a company as well as technology which makes cloud-based software for businesses. And it is the number 1 CRM in the world. Means that it has mostly approximately more than 40% of the market share in the world. So it is a leading CRM industry throughout. And it provides customer 360 services which involve all the processes which we going forward from a customer to business. And the middle process of a sales force. And as I have said, that it is a totally cloud-based technology. So we can access it from anywhere. Like mobile from our desktop and from anywhere. If we are on a event or in 1999. Again with the next slide. So we have heard that Salesforce is the number 1 CRM. But what CRM? So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, which means that the whole process between a customer and a business is managed by Salesforce. If we take an example of a bank system, then if we have a bank account or any provide any services, then we go to a bank and we like showing our interest to them. And after that, lead is created. Then Salesforce sent us like various marketing by using various marketing cloud. They help us going forward with our technology. And CRM is like the all in one place. We can manage our service, sales, marketing, and all other businesses need which we can use in businesses. So let's move to next slide. So these are the benefits of Salesforce if we want to use in any software. So it is a single source of truth. It means that all the things are provided in one software. Like if we talk about previously software, we have to create a different app from app development, we have to create a website from web development, and manage the functionality from other technologies. But by using Salesforce, we can do all the things in single platform, and we don't need to buy other licenses. All the things were managed in a single software, which is very beneficial for our businesses to manage. And like it is totally cloud-based, which I have already told you. So moving on. So these are the benefits, like why we want to integrate the Salesforce in the bank ecosystem. So these are the which is very important in bank, which is like to manage the needs and operations and like services and sales. So these all get managed through the Salesforce. We can use Salesforce. Like almost all the industries in which we can use our Salesforce technology. Like these are non-profit organizations and other also. And these were from which I have taken help and research on my particular topic. So like does anyone have any questions related to Salesforce or like how I have implemented banking management system in Salesforce? Okay, so like thank you.
Thank you so much for this presentation. Now, to let you inform everyone that best three papers will be awarded at the end of the conference. And also, I would like to inform all the finalist students that tomorrow is your present for that. Next, I would like to call upon our next guest, Dinesh Yadav. Please, sir, come on the stage for your presentation.
Hello. Very good afternoon to all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay. So it is very difficult to give any talk before the lunch and after lunch. So these talks are just before the lunch, but we will try to make it more interactive. So this is out of the box. If we are electronics guy, and you can see in the data communication and the computer science communication what a person who is having expertise in antenna and microwave is doing. In this scenario, I would like to tell you, data applications and data processing is everywhere. If you go somewhere, you can find out lots of data which need to be handled and which need to be processed. Next slide, please. Okay. Guys, have you seen this antennas around you? Yes, sir. Can you identify these antennas somewhere? These are the antennas which we are using in TV set. We are from any branch. We are from civil, computer, electronics, IT. Do you have mobile phone with you? Yes, raise your hand. Yes, sir. You all are having mobile phone. Please take a picture. You don't have such kind of pictures when everyone is raising their hand. Do you have you? Yes, sir. Now it is a good picture for all of you. Everyone is excited to attending this lecture. Thank you so much in the hand. But I would like to tell you that we are surrounded by the communication which is wireless and wired communication. And everyone knows that wireless communication antenna is the core. If I remove the antenna and entire you will not able to transmit any information from one point to another point. Are you agree? Yes, sir. Thank you so much for such a loud response. So we are in the era where the communication is through wireless communication. If there is no network in your phone, you will not survive for one day. Can you live without phone? No, speak. I can't live without the phone. Yes, you can live. Okay, you are next generation guy. Thank you so much. But please, next slide. These are the few antennas, but we are talking about the high power antennas also, where the aircraft is having some communication setups, and mobile phone is also having some small chips and all antennas are there. So slides are made just to excite you that what era we are here, everyone we are using these electronic gadgets with us, every time with us in our pocket, and we are communicating through this. And what we are communicating, this is data. What we are exchanging the information data, we are sending information, we are sending all the information from one point to another point, pictures, video, messages, all our data. And you people are the, will be future. So, next slide please. Can say, just I recall you, what is antenna? Antenna is the heart of wireless communication system. Without antenna, we can't think. Now we are talking about more of the flexible antennas and the wearable antennas, and how people, how multidisciplinary people can contribute in this technology. That I want to link in my next slides. Next slide, please. Now, there is one application I would like to tell you, on body or off body antenna application. They have some of the devices is mounted on your body, and you no need to send the information. The information automatically sent by the nearby node. That means some data would be collected through the sensors. It may be your healthcare. It may be information in the military application we are talking about. Some application you can find out lots of application in your field. So these are some wearable devices which have been communicating with the nearby nodes. So data is everywhere, and we need to process this data. For that purpose, we require some data handling engineers also. Next slide, please. Now some flexible materials which have been shown here. That means we are designing some really electronics which we can fit on our watch, fit on our body, fit on our any. If jeans is there, jeans can be one of the material for that purpose. Next slide, please. Other materials also. Next slide, please. Now these are some applications. Potential applications we are talking about. What are the applications? This is the start with wearable healthcare gadgets. Nowadays, if you can see after COVID, everyone is suffering with lots of diseases, and you can see heart attacks are frequent. And you can see these are the problems in not only in the older age people, it is the problem in the people those who are having the younger age. But how to help the society? That means if we are able to make some device that can fit over the body and that can transmit the information if something happening up and down. If ECG signal is going wrong, if something is going wrong, your information automatically sending to the nearby node, and nearby node it is sending the information to your doctor. So like this, if this type of facilities are there, who is contributing out there? These variable devices, flexible devices, and the data is a part of this only. What we are sending it is data only. Now these military applications, our militaries are required to work on very efficient. They are required lots of these gadgets, fitness, tracker, entertainment like this. Next slide, please. And lots of this diagram will tell you lots of application where the contribution would be taken care by the society for the researchers, and they can give the lots of inputs to the different application as flexible and wearable devices. Next slide, please. Now I am just giving you one example. I will not touch the technical part, but I am giving you what is the importance of the data which we are collecting from a human body and how it is processed. So we have designed a 2.4 GHz antenna for tumor detection on variable substrate of the wearable devices. Next slide, please. Now this is some mathematical equation which we have used. Why 2.4 GHz? Guys, I would like to tell you in Bluetooth application, Wi-Fi, we are using 2.4 gigahertz. In your mobile phone, if you open your laptop, if you open and you want to connect with the Bluetooth device or Wi-Fi, it is 2.4 gigahertz. And this 2.4 gigahertz, why this 2.4 gigahertz? Guys, please note down, it is ISM band. And what do you mean by the ISM band? It is industrial and for medical as scientific band. So everywhere if you go, the people, those who are using the scientific applications, medical or healthcare application, they are using 2.4 gigahertz equipment. So if you are in US or Canada or in India, everywhere you will go, you will find out these applications 2.4 gigahertz is it worldwide standard ISM band. Now this design equations just to how to get radiation at 2.4 gigahertz. Next slide please. So what I decide? I decide the length of width with some mathematical formula. This is not important for you. Next slide please. Now this is the antenna which we have designed. It is upper part, it is having some metallic part and back side there is a dielectric material. Where it is fitted? It would be fitted in your laptops, in your PC or in your other devices which is you can carry from one in your pocket or some fixed devices. But what is the problem which we have identified? The problem is if we design the antenna, we are not getting appropriate output. What is appropriate output? It means covering the radiation from one point to another point which we want to cover. For example, next slide please. Next slide. Okay. Technically, if I tell you, have you seen one antenna in movies where it is rotating like this and the TV signal is coming from their movies also they have shown. One person is sitting at the down and one person at the rooftop. What is this antenna? The name is typical antenna. So what is Yagiuda antenna? It is also in the movie Dangal. The first shot of the Dangal you can see that antenna. What it is doing? They are tuning the direction of that antenna with the geostationary satellite. Are you getting my point? Your parents must done this. You can ask how, and you have seen in many of the pictures and movies where the TV signals will be received. But what is the problem with the satellite? Satellite is the geostationary orbit. This is geostationary orbit. This is India. Now both are rotating and both are having the rotation of 24 hours. They are rotating with the 24. That's why it is geostationary orbit. So satellite is receiving the signal and this is receiving the signal. The problem is if the antenna is aligning towards this geostationary satellite, the signal will not receive. DD1, DD2 is the one of the example. Doordarshan people, those who have seen, they are receiving like this. This is the problem. Is coming, atmospheric impact is coming, what happens? This antenna will lose their location and finally someone has to go at the top and he has to fix this tuning. That means the small guys, the small tune are doing impedance tuning. In my technical way it is called impedance matching. They are just matching the signal. That means if I want to talk to you, I have to sit towards you, not like this. I can't give my presentation like this. Are you agree? Yes, sir. So this impedance matching is required. You are 200 students, this is 240 eyes. If the interaction is possible, then only we can communicate and you can transform your information to me. This is one way and sometimes if you ask the question, it will be two way. So this is the communication. That means these directions are very important. Not getting this appropriate result, then there is some problem with the antenna. Now what is the role of computer science engineers? Have you listened to the machine learning? Machine learning. These are having certain rules, certain algorithms. Next slide please. So this is again some directional antennas which is having some directivity. That means, for example, you people are having your mobile phone with you. And in your mobile phone you are Wi-Fi connection. If I am the Wi-Fi transmitter, how I need to transmit? I need to transmit this direction or I need to direct this direction or this direction. I need to transmit in entire this room. That means in this plane I need to transmit entire energy in all directions. That's why this directivity is in that direction. That means the radiator should radiate all energy in this entire room. Otherwise you will not able to receive the signal. if I am focusing only this set of people, these people will receive my lose my signal. These people may lose my signal. So sometimes we require certain antennas, certain applications to hold on. So otherwise it would be not. So what machine learning algorithms are doing? Next slide please. They are giving us this through flowchart. You can understand we are designing our antenna or the RF devices through some software. These are EM simulators, and these EM simulator will be giving some specific output. This is the first stage. What is the next stage? I'm not getting entire range or coverage or efficiency. Then I have to look towards this machine learning algorithm, which is giving me the efficient output in the case of the antenna if it is not radiating efficiently. So it is giving you length, width and size. So ultimately, if I can say a general language क्या if I want to design a specific antenna, mathematical tool is there. But what is next? How to optimize? So this is the optimization tool which will be handled by the machine learning algorithm, and that will give you the best output. So this length, if it is 5 mm, no, it should be 4.8 mm. That will give you best output, because once you made the antenna, after that, made matlab fabricated the antenna, and then you are analyzing the result, then there is a problem. At the simulation stage, if you are doing and you are applying machine learning, you will get best appropriate output. Next slide, please. So after applying the machine learning algorithm, we will get the length, width, and these all parameters through the antenna. Okay. Now next slide, please. Now one specific application. If I have not designed this antenna as per the requirement, I would not be able to track the information. So I would like to tell you, this antenna we are putting in front of a human body tissue model. And human body tissue model in software we are simulated using the properties, skin, fat and all these parameters. So what we have made, we made artificial skin and we made one antenna which is radiator. Now if there is a body and there is no tumor, it behaves differently. If there is a tumor available in skin, that means then it start to behave differently. And how we analyze antenna itself will give you, this is my property which is called SAR. You people don't know about the SAR. I am not aware of SAR. But what is SAR stand for? The name is like specific absorption rate. That means if something is there and it is absorbing the radiation, that means the behavior of that device will change. Now next slide will clear all these things. There is a tumor available. So we have just modeled the tumor also inside the body, and we put the tumor with body in front of the antenna. How it behaves? Next slide please. Now we have analyzed some results, and we find out if there is tumor available, tumor size is 10 mm and tumor size is 15 mm, we will get the changes in results. That means without tumor body, if the antenna is on body, or with the antenna with the tumor, small tumor, or the tumor size is increasing, we'll get there is some change in rate, a specific absorption rate. That means some parameter is changing. Next slide please. It will show you in by the table. Next slide please. These are some radiation properties with tumor with the different size. You can see here. Okay, stay here. You can see the gain 3 point. You can read only the mathematical values. The 3.62 when there is no tumor. This is one parameter gain. If there is a tumor of size 3.24, we have not changed the antenna. What we introduce only the tumor inside the body. Then there is a something will happen and it will change my gain property. Similarly, if the tumor size is increases, then it becomes 3.11 dpi. Then there is a problem. The tumor is increasing. That means through scanning, what we are getting the first-hand information. There is some problem. Now go with the analysis, other medical tests and other things. That means sometimes what happens, we don't know the tumor is available or not. For a normal purpose, no one is going for the test. When they go for the test, whenever there is some problem, pain is start, some shape is start to show in some picture. So like this is the first standard information which has been reported in this research. Next slide, please. Another parameters, which is the patterns of the different shapes of size of these antennas. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, last one, if you can see, there is SAR, the specific absorption rate. For no tumor, it is 1.21537. And if there is a tumor with 10 mm size or the 15 mm size, the specific absorption rate is increasing. So that means this is antenna, we have not changed any parameter. This is tumor. Now this data analysis efficient antenna through the machine learning algorithm. Now it is analyzed change the specific rate by changing size of the tumor. So these are the indication where the tumor is available in the body or not. Next slide, please. Now, how the fabrication process of these antennas has been taken place. I have put some pictures also. So it is physically realized antenna. So this is the masking and all process. You can find out which we have done. Next slide, please. Now this is the laboratory which I have accessed in 2014. I IIT Delhi Kerala. So guys, if you want to do some more, if you want to collaborate, people will be ready to help you out. But your intention is important. What you want to do. Now next slide, please. Now these chambers, how this fabrication, I will tell you the final prototype model of this antenna. Next slide, please. So this is the final prototype antenna, and this work has been done in 2014. Where I got the fellowship at Kerala to do this research. Now next slide, please. Next, please. Now this is the final prototype. This antenna can fit any of the PCB or any of the printed circuit model. Now this is independent component. You can fit somewhere and you can find out the analysis of this antenna. Next slide, please. Now the important is how to measure these antennas parameters. So this is the measurement center where we are actually analyzing the behavior which we have made with the machine learning algorithm, and we are applying this because we can make these antennas, but we can also analyze its behavior in physical also, because simulation is not 100%. Because what is the difference between simulated one and measured one? Only one thing, because we are doing at ideal condition. Simulation, they are not having any impact of the environment, they are not having some soldering problems, material issues, some properties which metal is having, surface current and all those things. If you do fabrication, then only you can analyze what are the drawbacks in fabricating and how to overcome. Okay, so these are the measurement and these things which we have done. Next slide, please. Now this is the rooms where we are taking the chamber, where we are taking the measurement of the ideal condition. Why we are saying ideal condition? Because ideal condition is there. If I am transmitting, you are receiving, whatever you are receiving, you tell me what you are receiving. This is the ideal condition. What is practical condition? It may go to this wall and come back to you. This is not the ideal condition. This is coming from the wall, roof, through reflection. Because what we are doing, we are using these antenna with some device in free space. Sometimes you will get buildings, but sometimes you will get there is a registan, there is no buildings. Then you are expecting the signal will come through reflection. That will not true always. So what we are focusing on, line of sight, what we are transmitting and what you are receiving. So these measurement we are doing in the NFR chamber. Next slide, please. So this is some photographs of the measurements. Next slide, please. Next. Now there is another interesting work which we have recently reported in Q1 journal, and that work is design an antenna and improve its flexibility. What happens in this case? Earlier case क्या हो गया? Finally we are having some metal part, और जब भी metal part को जब हम मोड़ते हैं ना, so what happens? थोड़ी देर बाद में उसका crack आ जाता है. So what we have, we improved our design. हमने क्या किया? वहाँ से metal part हटा दिया. Considering yellow one is the metal part and white one is there is a dielectric material which is already flexible, very thin material, like plastic sheet. But the metal part which we have removed, what we that is important. Next slide, please. We have removed this antenna, fabricated again, and we have removed the metal part at the top as well as at the bottom substrate. So what happens? Finally, we come into the conclusion that the flexibility is also improved. Second thing, our mathematical calculation and machine learning algorithm have applied on that. That is also we have of the journal. Next slide, please. Now, it is tested in the human body. I tell you the work which has been done by my PhD scholar, Mr. Gaurav. He is also available with us in this auditorium. So, Gaurav is here. So, you will find out this kind of work which we are doing. It is appreciated by each and everyone. But you need to focus what you want to do and what application, and you need to collaborate. Because I am not the computer guy. I'm not understand so much algorithm because since last 15 years I'm a professional of antenna and microwave. It is very difficult now to start with the deep learning, machine learning, and all these algorithms. So what we need to do? We need to collaborate some computer people. Please apply these algorithms in my design. Then only we can come out with the win-win condition. This is only for you for the thought process. Please collaborate. If you cooperate, you will come out with the multidisciplinary research. Now, this is tested with the different position of the human body, and these are the motivation I would like to tell you. We have visited Japan, and this idea came when we went to the Kyoto University, Japan. We went some of the university in Japan nearby Hiroshima University. I got the chance to get one fellowship, and through which I visited and I delivered one talk over there. And what their people are doing, we are much behind them. One of the Professor Pillai just addressed that we are 20 years back. I can say from Japan we are more back because they are developing artificial brain. So next slide please. I just want to tell you, this is the artificial brain which is showing. One of the professors told me how it is making. But I can tell you, the concept is matching with me because of the antenna engineer. And he is saying our mind is behaving like antenna. He is collecting some information. Because sometimes what happens, if the two peoples are not talking, they through their facial expression, they can also sense something that the signal is coming. You know what is positive energy, negative energy, you listen about that. Our mind is radiating every time of energy. If you are having negative thoughts in your mind, you can't help anyone. If you are having positive energy in your mind, it is really radiating at very low frequency. So it is very difficult. If you want to catch this frequency, you need to tune. How to tune? You can tell if you are having good tuning, you are good friends. The boys and girls are having good tuning, they are good friends. Two boys, two girls, you can understand this thing, you are the next generation guy. So you can understand this thing. Tuning is very important. If there is a tuning is mismatch, it not need to speak, no need. कहते ना आंखों की बात आंखों से बयां हो गई. So you can understand these people are, in 2019 these people are making artificial brain. And they are saying this is brain is antenna and this is radiating. And we are applying artificial intelligence on that. At that time they are applying, so we have started working on that direction. Now next slide please. This is one of the slides that I want to tell you. Shortly we will get these speed train in our country also. So be positive, always work hard. Next slide please. And industry and people will help you. This is one example I would like to tell you. This is not related to anyone, but I want to tell you. This is the anechoic chamber, and this is used for the measurement of antenna. One of the industry in 2023 awarded to us to measure antenna. The cost is 8 lakhs, but it is awarded free of cost in country 7 institutions, and we are one of them. Our group is one of them, those who have received this anechoic chamber. Because industry is ready to help if you are doing good work. They will support you. So these are the photographs where we engaged with our student team. And at last I would like to acknowledge all the professor and student, those who are contributing in this. So I can start. I recently got the best volunteer award. This is not related to research, I will tell you. We since long back working for the students' development in by sitting in between the students. I'm the faculty advisor of IEEE, MTTS, APS, AESS, lots of student chapters. But main objective is learn from the students, apply on our research, and you will get lots of things come back. Okay, so that's it. That's all for my side. Thank you so much for patience listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for expressing your words and grace us with your knowledge. Now I'd like to call upon our next guest, Dr. Manju Vyas. Please, ma'am, come up on the stage to say 2 words on this occasion.
Yes, good afternoon, all of you. I guess those body heavy over here, right? I understand, but believe me, what you are listening today is like it is an value addition to all of you, to your technical knowledge as well. If you are able to grasp even 10% of what Sumit sir told or what Dinesh sir told, it is going to help you a lot, right? So I am going to talk about generative AI. How many of you have heard this word generative AI? Yes, most of you must have heard the word generative AI because you are very much familiar with the word chat GPT, right? What is chat GPT? Because you can copy your assignments from ChatGPT, you can copy your what you call whatever is given practical exercises, you can take out code from ChatGPT. जो भी projects मिल रहे हैं, assignments मिल रहे हैं, lab programs मिल रहे हैं, you can just write the objective on the prompt which is there, and then you can take out the complete code out of ChatGPT. Right? So all of you are aware of ChatGPT, but can anybody tell me what is the full form of GPT? Yes, generative pre-trained transformer. That means you are generating something, it is pre-trained, and the third term is. So, in today's talk, I'll be talking about basically what is generative AI, how does it work, what is the architecture behind generative AI, and then how are deep learning and generative AI connected. The next thing is what are large language models, you must have heard the word. Next is what is the architecture of transformer based LLM model. Then how do you train these generative models, and finally whether we can use these models to enhance our teaching skills or not. Like, is it only for the students to copy their assignments for, or is it for the academicians and the teachers as well? Whether they can use these technologies to improve their teaching skills as well. Next slide, please. So first of all, what is generative AI? All of us understand that generative AI is the combination of two words. First is generation and second one is artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is a branch of study, right? Where you just tell the machine to learn from the data which is provided, and then it gives you some output. This is a very layman kind of language of artificial intelligence. Second word is generation. Now what can you generate? You can generate text, you can generate audio, you can generate video, you can generate certain images as well. So content is variable right from text to image to video to audio or to code snippets as well. Right? So you can generate anything from these 5 contents. Next slide, please. This is a diagram which is basically showing that the superset is artificial intelligence, which is the field of study. A subset of that is machine learning. What is machine learning? It is a branch of AI which basically focuses on creation of intelligent machines through training of data. What do you give a particular machine? You give some data to it, it synthesizes the data, it truncates some information, and it generates back some of the outputs, right? A subset of that is deep learning, like you must have worked on CNNs, you must have worked on ANNs and RNNs as well. तो ये सारे वर्ड्स तो आपने सुने ही होंगे, I'm sure implement भी किए होंगे, but then what is generative AI? Why is this fuss all about? Generative AI, has it come in 2023 only? Is generative AI the discovery which was made in 2023? No. All of you must have used Google Translator as well. Use किया है Google Translator सबने? क्या करता है? आपने एक लैंग्वेज में कोई स्टेटमेंट लिखा and it generates a particular line in another language. Convert this particular statement of English into Greek. So it will generate a language which is Greek language, right? So Google Translator is one example of generative AI. Another example is Siri सुना होगा सबने. Siri on the phone. You set up few alarms. You say, you talk to your Siri that tell me the details about my alarm or change my alarm from 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. So what it will do? It will take the input as your voice. It will generate it, synthesize it, and it will talk to you, and it will change the time from 4:30 to 5:30. It is again an example of generative AI. Alexa, you must have heard, right? And next slide, please. This is Alexa, you must have used, right? So what does Alexa do? It simply follows your orders. Song, Alexa, go and see what is happening, whether the security is proper or not. So all these are basically examples of single purpose system. All of you must understand what is the basic difference between single purpose system and general purpose system. तो अभी हमने जितनी भी बात की, right from Google Translator to Siri to Alexa, all these are single purpose generative AI systems. And now we are talking about ChatGPT, which is a general purpose system. You can ask anything to your ChatGPT and it will reply. अब anything का मतलब क्या है? You can ask your ChatGPT that behave as a Java developer and give me a code which will take certain kind of input and give certain kind of output. You can ask your GPT that write me an essay regarding whether we shall talk on our phones during driving or not. Give me 3 arguments in support to that. So it will just give you a essay which will support the document that yes, you can drive, or it will say that no, it is not right to drive when you are talking on your phone, right? So this is an example of general purpose generative AI. So we were talking about text generation. OpenAI is a company which basically came up with the concept of this GPT. Image generation, again there is a tool which is mid-journey. It will create images through the images which are supplied to it. You can say another tool is Codex. How many of you have heard the word Microsoft Copilot? How many of you have heard the word Microsoft Copilot? Yes, a very few. What is Copilot? It will generate code for you. So I am taking the example of this ChatGPT because 90% of the students are familiar with the example of ChatGPT. If we talk about generative AI, and very few are familiar about the word Microsoft Copilot. I will recommend that you must use Microsoft Copilot, and I will recommend the faculty members also because I have been using it, Microsoft Copilot, to increase my teaching skills as well, and it is a great tool to work on. Next slide, please. Again, music generation. So Magenta is another tool which will generate the music for you. So I was talking about Spotify. It will again work on the recommender system. Whatever you are playing, it will learn from it what kind of songs you are normally selecting, and it will prepare a playlist according to that, right? Now content creation is again another DALL-E is another tool which is generated by OpenAI also, and it simply generates the content for you. Content means if you are trying to write a report for your project, then you can use this particular tool. Similarly, Sora is again a tool which is used for video generation. It is also developed by OpenAI. Yes, next slide please. So we were talking about that generative AI is not a new concept. Google Translator, Siri, Alexa, language modeling. Now what is language modeling? जब आप ईमेल लिखना शुरू करते हैं या जब आप गूगल में कुछ टाइप करते हैं that it gives you suggestion, right? देता है suggestion. जैसे ही आप लिखेंगे write and it will write application. Now it is giving you certain suggestions. What is the suggestion? Basically it is predicting what the continuation must be. कि आपने कोई एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट लिखा और कंटिन्यूएशन क्या होना चाहिए, वो कंटिन्यूएशन कौन जनरेट कर रहा है? गूगल इज जनरेटिंग. सो अगेन दिस रिकमेंडेशन और व्हाट यू कॉल prediction is basically an example of language modeling, and it is again a very basic simple purpose generative AI. Yes, next slide please. So what has changed till then? We are saying that Siri was invented in 2011, and we are talking about generative AI in 2023. Why? What is this fuss all about? So basically, what happened in 2023, OpenAI announced that GPT-4 beat 90% of humans on the SAT. What is SAT? It is a standardized test which is given to American children for admission to various courses. It can be medical course, it can be engineering course, it can be architecture-based, science-based, arts-based course. So basically, it claimed that अगर आप चैट जीपीटी को वो क्वेश्चन पेपर सप्लाई करें which is given to the American students for SAT, it claims that 90% of the answers were correct. So there is a big leap from single purpose system to a general purpose system, right from Google Translator to chat GPT. That is why this first is all about. Everybody is talking about generative AI. Next slide please. So basically what generative AI or what ChatGPT can do for you, it will just give you a prompt and you can ask that particular prompt that act as a JavaScript developer and write the program that checks the information on a form. Or you can write an essay about the use of mobile phones while driving, which I was talking in the previous slides. Yes, next slide please. Next slide please. Are you with me, all of you? See, the first is all about because the time taken for ChatGPT to reach 1 million users was 2 months. If we talk about other social platforms like Facebook or Twitter, then it required around 10 months for Facebook to reach 1 million users. And if we talk about previous examples like Netflix or anything like that, then it required around 1 year to reach 1 million users. And all thanks to students like you that ChatGPT has reached 1 million users in just 2 months. Yes, next slide please. So in the talk, I'll be basically answering these 3 questions. How did we get from single purpose systems like Google Translator to ChatGPT, which we are discussing right now? What is the core technology behind ChatGPT? Is it without risk? Are there any ethical issues if we are using ChatGPT? Whether there are any limitations using ChatGPT or not? What is the future going to look like? Should we be worried? Should we be worried? There is a lot of fuss regarding that artificial intelligence is going to take our jobs, right? सुना होगा आपने कई articles भी पढ़े होंगे that AI is going to take the jobs of humans or it is going to replace human mind. But yes, all of us understand that nobody can replace human mind. चाहे आप कितना भी ChatGPT डेवलप कर लें, चाहे accuracy को 90% से 99% ले जाएं, but then it cannot replace human mind. But still, shall we be worried about it? We are going to discuss it. Next slide, please. Now we are talking about ChatGPT. Basically, it is what is ChatGPT? It works on a model which is known as language model. Now, what is language modeling all about? If I ask a particular question to a model, it will just predict the ये जो underscore sign हमने लगाया when I hear rain on my roof, I dash in my kitchen. Yeah, I dash on my kitchen. So whatever prediction is made by this particular model is done by the model which is language model. So some of you must say, I cooked soup in my kitchen. Few of you will say, warm up a kettle. Few of you will say, I'll take a nap. And somebody will say, I'll relax while it is raining on the roof. तो ये जो percentage calculation है ये कैसे हुआ? Why 9.4% for cooking a soup and why only 2% for relaxing? It is based on historical data which is provided to the machine. आपने किस तरह का डेटा मशीन को प्रोवाइड किया और मशीन ने किस तरीके से उसे लर्न किया, उसे ट्रंकेट किया, उसे सिंथेसाइज किया and then the output was generated. So this is the basic, you can say basic thing of language modeling where the input will be converted into certain tokens. The tokens will be synthesized, the information will be synthesized and the output will be generated. Next slide please. Now, in the previous slide, we were just talking about prediction of a particular phrase, a word, a sentence, or maybe a string of words, right? But nowadays, all of you know that the data has grown in leaps and bounds, right? Initially, we were talking about few megabytes, like sir in the first keynote was telling that during his MTech, he was having a hard disk of just few MBs, and now you are having hard disk of terabytes, right? So the data has grown in leaps and bounds. That's why large language models are used, and it is a very talked about research area nowadays. What is large language model? It is basically trying to work just like human mind. Because all of you understand that there are certain neurons in the human mind which gives the output, which takes the decision. So if you want to take the accuracy to human mind, then the data which is provided to your model must be in a very large scale. That is why large language models they are built bigger and bigger. That is why the complexity and the efficacy has grown to much more as compared to single word prediction. So another thing is that the size and the capability of language models has exploded over the years. Why? Because जो भी आप upload करते हैं, जितनी information भी आज internet पे available है, whether it is in terms of images or it is in terms of videos, it is like the total amount of data which is available around you is, you cannot imagine it in size. That is why if you want to process that data, you will have to work on large language. Yes, next slide please. Another thing is, how do these particular large language models work? All of you must have heard the word artificial neural network. Suna hai sabne? Yes, artificial neural network. There are certain layers, few are hidden layers, few are visible layers. You give certain output, कुछ weights calculate होती है और weights calculate होके then certain output is generated, right? So these large language models, they are nothing but to work on the concept of artificial neural network and weight generation. Right? You will give certain input to the model, it will calculate the weight and it will generate the output. Now, from artificial neural network to transformers. You must have heard the word transformer in your first year, right? Electrical machines जब पढ़ते थे तो transformer पढ़ा था? That you give an input to a transformer, कुछ windings है उसमें, वो windings जो है वो input को convert करती है and it generates output. So similar is the concept of transformer. If you talk about large language models, it will take input, it will truncate, it will synthesize the information, it will calculate the weights based on artificial neural network and it will generate the output. Yes, next slide please. We can say that it is a breakthrough in AI. Large language models basically are breakthrough in AI. They are working on the concept of neural network. You can see the image which is on the right hand side. There are certain hidden layers, there are certain ways how the input is converted into output and so on. And the large language model can take input as user questions, it can take prompts, take input from the prompts, it can take input as data sources. So you give whatever is applicable around you to the model and it will then generate the output. Next slide please. Next slide please. So we are talking about transformers. तो क्या बात कर रहे थे हम? Transformer is a very simple word which is for give certain output. It will through the layers it will synthesize the information and it will generate the output. Though it is not that simple. It is formed through various layers. और जब आप large language model या open AI की chat GPT की बात करते हैं, then there are, you can say, numerous transformers, one on another. One transformer, then there is another one, then there are layers of transformers through which you are getting the prediction. जो आप prediction कर रहे हैं, जो आपने बोला that if there is rain, then I will do this thing in my kitchen. This prediction is not just through a simple data synthesis to a complete sequence of transformers. So these are the layers of transformer. The first layer is your input embedding. What does input embedding? Compiler construction पढ़ा होगा सबने, right? What happens in the first phase of compiler? That you give a particular string to the first phase of compiler and it generates basically tokens from it. It will break the complete string into certain tokens and then it will work on every token. So what is happening here? That you give input text, it will tokenize into smaller units and then the tokens will be passed in to the second layer. The second layer of your transformer is positional encoding. Positioning means what is the position of that particular token, whether it is present in the starting of the sentence, whether what you are trying to predict must come in between or whether you are trying to predict is the end of the sentence. So position is the most important thing and it will be handled by the second layer of transformer, which is positional encoding. Next slide please. The third layer is your encoder where most of the working is happening. Basically this is what your neural network technique is. What is encoder doing? It is working on two techniques. The first technique is your self-attention and the second one is your feed-forward. What is self-attention? It is trying to calculate the most appropriate weight for a particular input to generate a particular output. Now how can you say that a particular weight is most appropriate? It uses an auto-regressive mechanism for that and for that it will do calculations through pre-trained model, pre-trained data and then it will fetch out what is the most appropriate, you can say what is the most appropriate weight for a particular level and how does it calculate that. The next layer is your decoder layer. It is not necessary that every architecture will have this particular layer, but then most of the architecture these days are having decoder layer, which is applied for every component and it will simply stabilize the running process. जब आप machine को run करवा रहे हैं, then it will simply stabilize. That means that whatever you are providing to the machine, it is trying to synthesize the information from that. It is trying to stabilize and it is not varying as much. जिस तरह का डेटा आपने प्रोवाइड किया वो बहुत ज़्यादा वेरी नहीं करे, उसके लिए आप एक डिकोडर यूज करते हैं फॉर द स्टेबलाइजेशन ऑफ द लर्निंग प्रोसेस. And the final layer is the output layer of the transformer, which is working on the generation of the final prediction. So we were talking about generating a particular phrase or a sentence, and now we are talking about generation of a complete document, not just a paragraph, but the generation of a complete document from a particular law. Next slide. So you can see from this graph that how big are the errors. आप देख सकते हैं right from ChatGPT in 2019 to GPT-4 in 2023 how the data has grown and how the size in terms of parameters have grown. Right? Next slide please. So we were talking about, shall we worried about this Gen AI? Or are there any limitations of this Gen AI or not? Yes, go to your homes and try a particular prompt and try to ask a semantic based question to your chat. Whether it is going to take the right meaning if you will supply certain words or certain sentences which are having semantic, which is not very much linguistic. You can say that it is not very much English में आपने कुछ दिया और उसका meaning जो है which is scientifically different from what you write it in English, then it is going to give you certain information which is not very correct. So you shall not rely completely on these generative AI tools. Now, since these are highly trained text predictors, so the response will be based on probable language. जो हम बात कर रहे हैं कि आप किस तरह का इनपुट प्रोवाइड करते हैं उस पर डिपेंड करेगा उसका, राइट? Now the second limitation is that you don't have access to the current information. What is currently happening in the world, you have not trained your machine according to that. It is working on what previous data was supplied to your machine. So whatever is supplied to your machine will be generated now, and since it is not the most current, so you cannot rely completely on these kind of products. The third limitation is that you cannot perform very complex calculations when you are using these kind of tools, because you cannot have interpreted language, and you cannot say that perform this kind of complex calculation, because it is going to give you some false output from that. Now, whether there are any kind of ethical issues when you are using, yes, all of us understand that there are certain ethical issues. जब आप डिजिटल कोड कॉपी करते हैं, then you must check the validity of that information. You must check the rights, whether you have the rights to copy or not. Sir was talking about that today. Intellectual property day, IPR day, right? So all of us must be very much. All of us must be using our brains while we are using these kind of tools of generative AI. They are no doubt very much helpful to all of